Hey, 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 everybody. We are back. Part 2, Entrepreneur Show, with my special guest, best-selling author, Alan T. Black. You got to be strong out here in this life of writing our story. And we don't own the rights to this music. Okay? How's everybody doing? Let us know how you are doing. Let us know. On this Friday evening. Welcome, 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 everybody. I'm Martine Corte. I'll be your host tonight for part 2 of the Entrepreneur Show. Say hello when you come into the broadcast. Got to be strong. Say hello. Say hello. All right. We're going to get started. Good evening. Good evening. Share the broadcast out. Share the broadcast out. We're going to do Q&A with the best-selling author tonight, y'all. All right. Okay. Welcome, 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 everybody. Artiste Johnson is in the room.
Yes.
Well. He says, hello, Artiste.
Hey there, Mr. Artiste. I need to get a hold of you. It's been a while, my brother.
Well, welcome to the Entrepreneur Show. We have an invite for everyone that's watching today. There's an event going on tomorrow. We want to invite y'all to the event. So stay tuned. We're going to let y'all know what that is. But come on in the room. We're doing a Q&A with the best-selling author, Alan T. Black. And he has a special event tomorrow. We're going to be talking about, if you didn't catch our live stream from last Saturday, we talked about some nuggets of how to get started writing your book, writing your story. He says, okay, Artiste Johnson, thank you for your comments, sir. Appreciate you. So you go back and watch that live stream. It was very interactive.
Yes, it was.
Yes. So we're coming back again because Sir Alan has an event tomorrow. So I'm going to keep my glasses on because I can't see a thing.
You see, I never take mine off. If I'm taking mine off, I'm in trouble, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm in big trouble.
That's right. I know I am. Okay.
That's about it, baby.
I got several pairs all around. Car, house, office, purse, wherever. But welcome tonight, you guys, to the Entrepreneur Show. I'm your host, Martine Corte. We're going to get started. A little bit about me. I am a best-selling author as well. I'm an entrepreneur, own several different businesses. I work with small business owners. I work with live streamers. I work with network marketers, nonprofit leaders, authors. I work with anyone that has a business or brand. I am a brand builder. And so I work with them to help them reach their potential clients with the assistance of live streaming, what we're doing right here, right now, to help them make more money in their business or in their authorship business. So welcome tonight. We're going to do a Q&A with our best-selling author that we have as a guest tonight. We appreciate you coming in, and please comment, ask questions. This is a Q&A, so we want this to be interactive. We want everyone to participate. If you had a burning desire to write your book or get started, but you just didn't know how or what first steps to take, this is your opportunity to ask directly from a best-selling author that's done it 3 times. He is a 3-time author. He is a lyricist, so he writes words to songs. I call him Sir Alan, so he has been knighted because he is just that amazing. And so I'll let him give you the rest of his accolades without any further ado. Sir Alan T. Black, welcome to the Entrepreneur Show again.
Thank you, Dr. Martine Corte. I want to definitely give you your props because I'm a big believer in the process of collaboration. And that's really what it takes a lot of times for you to reach the goal that you are trying to obtain. And so we've been working together now for about 3 years or so. Has it been 3 years? But where did the time go? I mean,
Yeah.
2018, 2019 is already, 2022 is almost over. Less than 90 days and we'll be into 2023. So, but that's a great way to kind of segue into really what is important about the time and the season. As Martine said, my name is Alan T. Black. I am a best-selling author. This is my third book. My first book, Here I Am, Lord, I released in the summer of 2017. The second book was called In the Spirit Intended, and that particular book is the one that was recognized by Amazon as being a bestseller. I want to say hello to Miss Alice Lewis. Had a chance to meet her at my first book signing, so it's good to see her again. Thank you.
Hey, Alice.
Miss Alice. The third book is this one here, which is going to be an ebook in an ebook format, which is called Just a Closer Walk. So I'm very excited to have the opportunity to get to the level of writing 3 books. I would like to tell everybody that realistically, and I'm being totally honest about this, if I can do it, you certainly have the capacity and the opportunity to do it as well. We're in a time in a season right now where I'm beginning to really recognize that everybody has a story to tell. And I think last week, Martine, you shared a quote from Miles Monroe about the richest place on the planet would be the graveyard, because there's so many untold stories and so many untold opportunities that were never pursued that are lying there 6 feet underground. And so over the course of this week, I've gotten to really think about that, because I realize at this point now where I'm at that we hear it as a cliche in our Christian background or whatever religious path you follow. And you hear that, and you hear people say, well, tomorrow's not promised. And we take it as a cliche. And I think a lot of time we just kind of say, yeah, that's the case, but I've got stuff I'm going to be doing in the next 6 months anyway, so I'm not worried about it. But I'm hoping that really what's come out of the situation with COVID is the fact that tomorrow really is not promised to any of us. It just isn't. So it's incumbent upon us as individuals, as talented individuals, to take the opportunity, to seize the opportunity, to be honest, to really go about the business of making things happen the way you want them to. I'm totally convinced, like we shared yesterday or Wednesday on William King's show, I'm totally convinced that everybody has a story to tell. And we were talking last week, and we were talking about the process. Okay, how do you get your story from, say, in here or from your heart to, say, a paperback, an ebook, whatever the process may be? And I would share with the audience several different tips that I have come across in the course of this last 7-year journey to become an author. I think, number one, we want to recognize the fact that with technology in 2022 going into 2023, how you even get started is not as complicated as we think it is, Martine, because we all have these things called our cell phones. And so we're in a time and a space right now where if you are not comfortable, say, writing out your story, and for a lot of us, we may not have the time to actually do that.
Yep.
Our phones are with us 24 hours a day. Most of us sleep with our phones on, or they're on vibrate, whatever the case may be. So you could take your writing component and you can make it almost a journal form. And what I mean by that, audience, is that you could just record a little bit of your story each and every day. And that makes the whole process much easier, because you're not looking at it from the position of this huge mountain that you're trying to climb. You're just taking a few steps at a time. And I would submit to everybody who's listening that probably over a period of maybe 30 to 45 days or even 60 days, if you were doing something a little bit each day, at the end of about 60 days, I think you'd really be astonished as to what you really have accumulated in terms of material for a potential book. And then from there, you're looking at, okay, who can I reach out to who can take this oral resuscitation that I have documented and then turn it into a book form. But that's where the process of you reaching out and trying to network with people, if not locally, I certainly encourage locally within our community as much as anything. But if that does not prove to be beneficial to your satisfaction, then there are options as well out there, like with Fiverr. I openly admit that when I first started back in 17 to do my first book, I went through Fiverr simply because I didn't know anybody locally who was doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So Fiverr proved to me that they could get the stuff done. And Fiverr gave me access to an international platform that I did not know exist. And also keep in mind too, because of technology and the internet and things like that, the Fiverrs of the world now were not there 10 years ago. So you're seeing these different formats and different platforms coming into fruition now that are very beneficial to us as authors, us as, say, photographers, musicians, whatever the case may be, because of the world is actually shrinking because of technology and your capacity, if you choose, to really connect with people on the other side of the world, people that you may never see, places that you may never go. But again, you're having that opportunity to build that platform because of what technology is bringing to the table. And then as well, the other thing I think we shared on William King's program is the fact that I would encourage, if you are writing, don't get hung up, and this is just Alan's opinion, don't really get hung up on, well, is my book going to be 200 pages? Is it going to be 300 pages? For me, and this is just my opinion, I don't know if it fits the professional etiquette of what is acceptable per se, but I'm just of the opinion that the length of your pages, the length of your book is not really what's pressing. It's about the content that you're creating within that book.
Mm-hmm, right.
I shared with on King's program on Wednesday. One of my students, Demetria Ballard from UNO, she's got 2 children's books, for young Black girls like 9, 10, somewhere in there. But both of her books are averaging about 25 pages or so. Beautifully written, very enjoyable. I purchased both to support her as a local author and also because she's one of my former students.
Mm-hmm.
The story that she's telling and the summation of what she's presenting is just fantastic. And again, this was only like 25 pages or so for each of her books. So I'm saying that to say this. Don't be intimidated by the fact that maybe your book is not going to be 100, 200 pages. My books are like 125, 130 pages, something like that, each of them. And I had to get away from the mindset that, okay, my first book, which was Here I Am, Lord, I was really worried to death. Oh, it's only going to be about 120 pages or something. And then finally it dawned on me, what am I worried about?
Mm.
The bottom line is I'm just doing what I've been called to do. The emphasis is about whether or not it's going to be a blessing to somebody. Does it speak to somebody? Not about how long it is, because I mean, you can fill out a book quantitatively, but is it impacting qualitatively to the way that you want it to do so?
That's
so
right.
Those are just some tips that I have discovered along this road. And I take the position as much as anything, Martine and audience, that for the 7-year journey that I've been on, because this really began for me back in 2015, the information that I've been able to accumulate, it's just come really by just being open and just being willing to receive information, and as well making a commitment to network and to collaborate with other people such as yourself and some other people as well, nationally and internationally, because it's through the process of collaboration, at least in my opinion, that's how you grow, because you may have one idea and one viewpoint on how to do something, but when you bring somebody else to the table of a like mind and like spirit, they're going to present you with something as far as a different way to look at it, which can only add to what it is that you're trying to do to begin with. So it's taking you, it's elevating you to another level, which ultimately is what you want to do as far as the whole process of being a creator. That's what it's really all about, is how are you going to elevate yourself to the highest level so that when you finish and you have that finished product, you are satisfied with what you have actually been blessed to accomplish.
That's right. That is great information. We have a comment on Instagram. TD Sanders says, awesome info, Alan. Thank you so much for joining in from Instagram. I'm holding up my phone, so we got Instagram watching you.
Thank you. Thank you, TD Sanders. I think that's Terry Sanders from Omaha Star, phenomenal paper, historically fantastic Black paper. And so we want to congratulate her for all that she's doing. She's making history, and her legacy is going to be here for the next 100 years or so. And so I'm very proud of what Terry is doing with that paper. And she's right. It's about what is it that we're going to share. I'm of the mindset in this time of the season for me, Martine, that what I've been blessed to receive, there's a calling on my heart to try to give back, because people gave to me, they sold into me. And so I think it's incumbent at this point in my life, for the time I have left, to be able to sow back into somebody else and to give back to somebody else. Because when we take that last breath, I've always had the opinion that, are you going to be able to say that you emptied yourself as much as you could while you were here? Because whatever it is that you had that you were being selfish about, you're not going to take it to the next life.
That's right.
It ain't going to do you no good there. So did you position yourself to try to bless somebody else other than yourself? And the blessings as such, we have to get away from the misconception that they are measured quantitatively. That's not what it's about. The quantitative aspects of what you're blessing somebody with does not compare to the qualitative aspect of what you're leaving with them. That's really what it comes down to. And that's what it's really all about when you get right down to it.
That's right. And TD Sanders, she says, yes, Terry Sanders. We love her. She says, all the fuel out of the tank. That's right. We have to empty ourselves.
She's right.
Because and I like to take that approach too in life with things, everything that I do. I like to model behind giving back. That's just the foundation that I build upon in anything that I do, whether it be personal or business. That's what I go after. I want to give back first, because when I do that, I know I'm aligning myself up to receive what I'm destined for. And I was just on that show on David Newsom's podcast, Destiny, and that was one of the questions. How do we align ourselves up with the things that we want in life, as it relates to what God wants to have for us? And so that was a great question. And so I always just like to be in a position of alignment, because when I'm in alignment, I can hear from God, and he's telling me, he's ordering my steps. He's telling me, okay, I want you to go left. I want you to go right, And so the model that I follow in order to stay in alignment is giving back, because I know that's what we should be doing. If I have, like you said, a breath in my body, I'm going to always be giving back. And I know everything that I'm asking for is going to come to fruition.
And, as well, too, I agree with that. And I also add on to that the fact that when I think about the elders who came before us, it would have been our parents. It would have been our family. In my case, growing up in this community in North Omaha in the 60s, it was the village. And so that village was willing to pour back into me, pour back into others. And a lot of times, if we're going to be honest about it, our elders, the process of them pouring back into us, a lot of times meant that they were sacrificing something they could have maybe done for themselves. And so that takes high character, a high understanding that is greater than you, when you're willing to say that I'm going to put aside what I perceive as a need to be there for somebody else in some shape, form, or fashion. So I'm always mindful of that, because I think back over the course of my life that there are so many people who have done for me when they didn't have to. They believed in me. They believed in all of us when perhaps we didn't believe in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
but they saw something in us that perhaps at a certain time and in that particular season, we could not see in ourselves, but they were seeing something in us that they said, you know what, I'm going to pour into this person and try to give them what they may need to keep following in the footsteps that they've been destined to follow in. So, I think about my college days, different things like that, different things that have happened over the course of my life where people have been a blessing to me. And now, like I said, it's this time in this season where I need to give back. I think the authorship side of me, as such, and you and I have talked about this along with Danielle Thompson and Nicole Ryan, about how we want to do something in the spring to maybe assist people with the process of trying to begin the process of becoming an author. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important, particularly with our elders, because of the fact that we don't need their stories and their experiences just going to the grave with them. Because once they're gone, they're gone. Mm-hmm. I think about, just from a very personal perspective, I think about my grandmother, my father's mother. And she was a fantastic baker. And this is back probably 1920s, 1930s, somewhere in there. Well, that was her hustle, along with my grandfather, as far as how they were going to keep their head above water, raise 3 kids back in the 20s and the 30s, and deal with segregation, things like that. But my grandmother was a fantastic baker. And she did it from scratch. She did it with no recipes like a lot of our grandparents did or great-grandparents did back then. But part of the frustration is, you know what? How cool would it have been to get some of those recipes to pass from generation to generation? Now, in my grandmother's case, I'm going to confess. She just said, well, I just do it. She just never thought about it. She kind of did it by instinct. Mm-hmm. But even so, it would have been great to say, have part of that documented in some form or fashion to pass on to the next generation. Yeah. And so I'm seeing in the future, if it's not happening now, as far as authorship, I'm seeing the video aspect of that coming in. Artice Johnson, the fantastic videographer. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that I can see in the future is more of an increase, a proliferation of, say, videography where we're recording history of our elders. Mm-hmm. You can record it now in these formats that are out here where 30 years from now, if they're gone, well, their great-great-grandchildren in the future can then hear or see from somebody in 2022, and let's just say 2075 at that point. But how are we going to take advantage of the technology that is here in order to continue to document these things? The book form or even audio books is fine, but I'm sensing in my spirit there's going to be, if there isn't already, more of an uptick in these video documentaries, biographies being populated by our families and by communities, because those kind of documentations via film stay around forever until the film goes bad, but then they can restore it as they've done stuff from the 40s and the 50s. So there are changes that are coming in terms, say, of the authorship. Who would have thought, even as Terry has been doing the Star for quite a few years now, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, who would have thought you could read the Omaha Star or other newspapers or other publications online?
Right.
That's where we are. Mm-hmm. And so it says to me, what's the future going to be? We are going towards, whether we realize it or not, and I hope most people realize this, there was that cartoon in the 60s that I grew up with, and I think you're familiar with it, Martine, called The Jetsons.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we laughed and giggled at The Jetsons when we were kids. But have you stopped to think how much of that stuff is really happening right now?
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
I think Tiffany Gamble was pointing out the fact last time we talked to her, was it in Saudi Arabia, I think, she mentioned they have flying cars or something like that.
Hmm.
I mean, that's George Jetson stuff, but it's here.
Yeah, that is George Jetson stuff. And it's happening. And it's just interesting if we remember that cartoon, the Jetsons, everything that they did, like they could order their food and it just show up, you know?
And we're doing that through DoorDash and
Yeah, that's the same thing.
robots cleaning your house. We've got robots that sweep your floor.
Or, yes.
Hello, people.
So you're absolutely right, Sir Alan. Technology has taken over as it relates to the way we do things
Exactly.
in life and the way we publish or even create um, our books. Recording ourselves or being interviewed, ghostwriting is huge now because
Ghostwriting.
our lives are so much busier. And I mentioned on the last stream that we did last Friday, how my book that's going to be coming out in December around the holidays is a ghostwriting approach because I'm just so busy. And I know I won't sit down and write it myself. But if someone interviews me, that's perfect for me. We talk about ourselves, so easily. So just have someone record it and then transcribe it. And your book, put it together and you send it through the proofreader, a couple proofreaders, and it's done.
And it's done. And
It's
that's
done.
for years. Ghostwriting, and I had to kind of go back and re-examine this, and I really began to realize, you know what? Ghostwriting isn't just the fact that you tell somebody, or write my story and I get credit for it. No, it's way more diverse than that. That's just the tip of the iceberg, because even in the process of you telling somebody the story, they have to get it right. It's still your story. You're just having somebody else just basically write it for you. And I imagine most celebrities or so many people who are busy are not going to sit down and take the time or have the time to actually sit down and write their story. So they're going the route of having somebody do it for them. That's very valuable. That particular portion of authorship within, say, our writing community is growing by leaps and bounds, and it's going to, because technology is making our lives simpler, but the downside is a lot of times it's making our lives busier.
It is.
It's just the nature of the beast. And so because of the busyness that technology brings to the table, we're finding ourselves very often in a position where now we have to say, delegate. We have to say, I'm going to assign this to somebody else because this is their forte. This is what they can do. And you have to be willing to admit, okay, number one, I don't have the time, or number two, I can't make the time. And the third part of that is, if that's not your strength, don't necessarily place yourself in a position where you're trying to do something you're not strong at. There's nothing wrong with you delegating and saying, hey, this is what I know you can do, because this is your livelihood. This is your ball game. So I need to empower you to do what it is that you do in order that we can create a collaborative project that we're both going to be happy with.
Absolutely. And using these tools, these tech tools, makes things a lot easier, and so we don't have to busy ourselves doing a lot of projects. So then we fill that gap with something else, and that's another way we become more busier, because these tools kind of, it's like our assistant, and it does things a lot faster, and we need that, especially everything is going tech nowadays. And we need to get in these tech classes, that Tiffany Gamble puts together, and all her collaborations with the other partners, community partners. But we have to, get on board, or we're going to get left behind, And so I love tech, for the limitations that that it offers me. I can get on board, but I'm, at a certain point, I want somebody else to take over. So I love it for the fact that it helps me do things a lot more efficiently and faster, so that I can get on with other things. So it's definitely important, and I'm, and we're using it to write our books. And so I'm all about that because of I like to stay current with the times. And I, I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm not tech savvy. I don't know, the social media. And I get that because, you know, depending on your age, you may not pick it up as fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we should be motivated enough to kind of learn it because that's just the way the world is moving so that we don't get left behind. And we can write our stories. We can use all these new tools and gadgets and stuff. There's, electronic proofreaders. There's all kind of things, at our hands, to write our stories. It just goes on and on and on. If you start researching, you'll just uncover and discover all these tools that help that writing process go a lot more smoother. And then you'll find
Mm-hmm.
professionals that you can hire to help you. You don't have to go about this by yourself.
And I think that's really part of the process that you want to keep in mind. You are not in this by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You are one entity, but it does not mean you are the sole entity. And so, as you are going through this, when you say, okay, I need some help with this, or I need help with that, reach out and ask somebody. And don't be afraid to ask. I'm a great example of that because when I did my first book, the writing part for me was not that hard. I'm not bragging, but that's just my flow.
Right.
Now, the formatting, the editing, and the uploading and all that, I'm like, that's over my head. Okay, I'm out of my league right there. But I immediately said, you know what? I got to get with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that ties back again, being redundant, I admit, that ties back to that collaborative commitment that you're making to say, get yourself in a position where you're going to be able to get to the end goal. And I think with technology, particularly with social media, and I've learned this working with you, sometimes you just got to jump in and just try to stay afloat. Now, I admit when I first started with Facebook, I had no clue what I was doing. I'm just stumbling all over the place, but it just really came by practice and trial and error and a whole lot of error that I'm finally getting halfway proficient at it. Trust me, I'm no expert. And even with Instagram, I'm learning it slowly but surely. And I think for a certain population age, there's going to be a level of intimidation and fear, but we can't let that hold us back because I'm just convinced that if you do, you get left behind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that person that I didn't really want to start texting, but I got pushed into texting because people wouldn't pick up the phone because most of the time they're too busy to answer the phone. And I realized, well, if I just send a quick text, they'll get back with me. And then bang, I got the answer I need and I got my point across. And now I'm shocked to say I spend more time texting than I do talking.
Isn't that interesting how we switched over?
Wow.
We're doing more texting instead of like picking up the phone and just talking.
Never in a million years would not have thought it possible. Texting like my godchildren. Well, I'll call them, they wouldn't answer. I text, boom, they just answer right back. And finally I said, oh, this younger generation just doesn't talk, they text.
No, they don't want to hold a conversation.
They don't. And then with people my age and younger working on different projects, sometimes they just couldn't pick up the phone. So I just sent a quick text and they bang, 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 give me an answer back and we're good. And I thought, I guess it's the way it is. And like I said, now I realized about a year ago, I text more than I talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still in disbelief about that, but I had to figure out a way to keep up or I'm not going to get left behind. I've got too much to do as far as that's concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we need these tools to help us along, to make us more efficient and, and just connect with the world on that level. We need these tech tools. Well, I think this is a good time, Sir Alan, to just kind of take a pause and then bring in your flyer so you can talk about your event coming up tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. if you're just joining the broadcast, welcome to the Entrepreneur Show, where we interview entrepreneurs and they talk about their business and they talk about their journey as an entrepreneur. I am Martine, your host. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm a best-selling author, along with my guest, Sir Alan T. Black. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I work with small business owners and other entrepreneurs to help them reach more clients with the assistance of live streaming to help them get to the bag. So we welcome in our guest, best-selling author Alan T. Black. He has an event for us to attend tomorrow. If you're in Omaha, Nebraska, I'm going to put up the flyer so he can tell you a little bit more about it. Go ahead, Sir Alan.
So this is coming up tomorrow, September 24th, from 11 to 2 p.m., as you see on the flyer. It's at EGP, which stands for Essential Gathering Place, 5001 North 42nd Street. That's right there on the corner of 42nd and Saratoga Street. And so Martine and I and Sierra Phillips will be there between 11 and 2 tomorrow. This third book is called Just a Closer Walk. This is the third book in what's become a series of Christian inspirational type of writings, if I can just call it that. This one will be ebook only. And again, this is almost really a concession to the changing of the marketplace, because right now, stats are showing that more people are doing ebooks as opposed to, say, paperback or hardback. So in this particular situation, I decided, well, let's go with the ebook and see how this is going to go. The convenience of being able to just come tomorrow, download the book to your tablet or to your phone, because people are reading books on the run. They're in airports, reading their books on the phone or whatever, or their tablets or something like that. So this is just, again, a reflection of how technology is changing things. We will never get away from, say, the old-fashioned hardback book or the paperback. But we have to recognize and acknowledge the fact that ebooks are here to stay. We're even talking about now the technology where you can do your ebook through Canva, I think you said, Martine, because of what's happening. So, but to kind of loop back to tomorrow, I'm excited about this. It's taken a while to get to this point to get the third book done. It originally was planning on it coming out back in January 2021. But that did not happen, as Martine and I know. I was in a severe car accident in January 2021. I was left in critical condition for several months, so we had to kind of postpone it until this year. So by the grace of God, I was able to recover from the car accident.
Amen.
Now it's taken about 18 months or so, but to get back to this point now where we're going to do this book signing. So I'm excited. I would encourage everybody to come out, get a chance, and just get a chance so we can just say hello and just talk to you. If there's something we can encourage you with, we want to do that as well. Other entrepreneurs will be stopping by. We're going to set up a little session where they can kind of introduce what they do, what their business is as well. And when Martine was asking me about that, I said absolutely, because a community is only as strong as the support that we provide one to the other. And so I'm a firm believer that in this community of North Omaha, we have immense talent. We've got superstar talent out here.
We sure do.
If I'm in a position where I can maybe just give a few minutes to somebody to share what they're doing, then again, I want to do that as a way of giving back. But we'll be there tomorrow from 11 to 2, like you see on the flyer. Come by. Sierra Phillips, fabulous young lady, is doing the catering and everything. I want to definitely thank Stacy McLean Honeycutt, because she's the one that has the Essential Gathering Place set up for entrepreneurs, for book authors to come in and to have a place where they can showcase their products, their services, and things of that like. And so we want to definitely give her big props, because she's making a huge impact in the community. So come on out tomorrow from 11 to 2. I purposely picked a non-football Saturday.
You did?
I did. Not that it matters the way Nebraska's playing, but we ain't going to start that, because I'm an alumni from Nebraska University, so I don't want to get my blood pressure up, so I'm going to stay away from that topic for right now. But anyway, so come out tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing everybody and get a chance just to say hello and everything. And
that's right.
Listen, I'm a firm believer that if I can get to this point of being a dinosaur, then other people have the capacity, they have the opportunity to do just what I did, if not go higher.
Mhm.
I want people who are out there who are thinking, well, if he did it, I want them to pursue this same dream or whatever their passion is. I want them to go higher than I did. That's
Mhm.
really what it's all about, is keep going higher and higher, because it builds all of us up when we do so.
Absolutely. And I want to encourage everyone to come out as well to meet Sir Alan T. Black, third time Arthur, um, because it's important that we meet these folks that are in the community doing things, whether we're operating a business or maybe we're writing our story. But we're going to be, like you alluded to earlier, we're going to be putting together an event for inspiring authors or authors,
Mm-hmm.
already authors, to come out and so that we can showcase them, to the community. And this is important that we do this because people, like you said earlier, Alan, you said that when you first turned to fiber, it was because you didn't know of anyone in the community that did what you were looking for, that offered that service that you were looking for. And so I'm sure there are people, we just didn't see them. We don't know who they are. And
No,
and the only way to get over that or to solve that problem, because it's a problem, is to have events where they're showcased, where we know we're meeting them. We
exactly.
find out what they're doing. We find out how we can continue to do business with them, if beyond the event. And so that's why we're having this event and inviting the community, inviting you all to come out so that you can meet him and other authors. He's not going to be on author in the room, but meeting them in person is going to make a big difference, because now you can get their card, you can get their, you know, exchange information, bend their ear, ask them questions, whatever the case may be. But you get a chance to say, aha, this person can help me. If I've always wanted to write a book, and so then the journey will continue from that, because now you've made the connection. It's
And
like
it's
going to
really,
a networking event.
it's about being able to connect with somebody. There is strength in numbers, but
That's right.
fragmentation is ultimately going to result in, say, nullified accomplishments, because if you're fragmented to the point where you're trying to do it by yourself, then there's potential of becoming frustrated and feeling like you're out here by yourself, be done. And we have to
Mhm.
move away from that particular paradigm, because that's certainly not the case.
That's
So
right.
I'm excited about the fact that for the spring event we're talking, can we build some type of network where other authors are aware of, this person's an author, that person's an author. Well,
Mhm.
this person can do this person can do that. And I know without question in my heart that the talent is here.
Mhm.
We just have to be in communication
That's
with
right.
each other. I know one talked to Yuri. Well, I was talking with him, and he's doing some things with video like that, which was fantastic. I don't know anything about that, but that just goes to show there's so much out here that we just need to be able to connect and get to know, meet, and greet each other. And that's just not really relating just to the artship side. It goes to all kind of different opportunities that are out there. The power of networking and collaboration has always been effective. It's been proven to be effective. And that's not going to
That's
change
right.
anytime in the future, that's for sure.
I talk about that all the time, the power of collaboration. If people only knew how powerful it is and the benefits that come out of that, it's just mind blowing of the potential that it
Yeah.
could give you in anything that you're doing to further push that your agenda along. So again, where this event is tomorrow. It's at Essential Gathering Place, 5001 North 42nd Street, just a closer walk. Sir Alan T. Black, bestselling author. This is his third book. This is an ebook, so we're so excited to put together an ebook book signing. It's probably one of its kind anywhere around here, near here. And so we're going to be able to pull it off, and you'll be able to get a download. Just come on in, bring your devices, whether it be your iPad or phone, or it'll be sent to your email, and you can download it from there. Very easy. Everyone has an email these days, so you'll be able to get it. Don't even worry about it.
And hey, audience, let me interject because she's not going to say it, but I'm going to say it for her.
What?
When Martine was saying, well, we need to do an ebook signing, I was like, what are you talking about? Went right over my head. She said, well, this is the concept. And I thought, well, okay, if you know how to do it, then let's do it. But again, that circles back to that word of collaboration. So I'm giving all the credit to her as far as the idea, the concept, and putting it together from the technology side. Because I'm going to tell y'all point blank, I'm good at some technology, but when it gets to a certain level, I'm just going to shut down because I'm going to be like, no, you got to go talk to that person. But then I know my strength and I know my weakness. And technology, to a certain extent, is definitely a weakness. So when I get to that point where that red flag goes up, hey, go talk to Martine, go talk to Tiffany Gamble, because I'm out of my league. But I give myself credit for one thing. As Clint Eastwood said in one of his movies, a man needs to know his limitations.
All right, now I can get on board with that too. I know my limitations, and I know when to pass on the baton.
Yes.
So tomorrow, come on out. We'll be having some food so that you can have something to eat while you visit with the best-selling author, Alan T. Black. And then we'll have some music. So come out and fellowship. It's going to be a great time for a couple hours from 11 to 2 p.m. So again, thank you so much, Sir Alan, for coming in, doing part 2 about what's going on with you and just tips of how to become a writer and author. And just kind of sharing, your journey, from all 3 of your books. And so people can kind of understand what the journey may look like. Theirs may be different, but just it's nice to hear stories of how people did it. And you did it 3 times. So I commend you for that. Congratulations, sir. And we'll be seeing everyone tomorrow. So come on out. Tell your friends, bring a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Y'all come on out. 5001 North 42nd Street in Omaha, Nebraska. So again, thanks everyone for coming in to the Entrepreneur Show Part 2. We appreciate you. If you are interested in being interviewed and you have a business or you're an author, just send me a message and let me know. We can get you on the show and talk about what you're doing. We have to let the people know what you're doing. Okay. All right. So everyone have a great evening. We'll see you on the next live stream, the next Entrepreneur Show, or the next Side Hustle Night School. So y'all follow me on all social media platforms at Martine Corte. And let me put your information up too, Sir Alan, so we can get the people the information to follow you as well. Let me see. Where did I put that?
Don't forget my Instagram, okay? Excuse me.
Tell them what your handles are while I find.
It is Alan T. Black 55. That's ALAN T BLACK 55. That's my Instagram. I'll pop my shirt out, okay? I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but yeah, I am on Instagram. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. And then my website is alantblack.com. So I'm excited. I'm trying to stay afloat. I'm doing the best I can, but you know what? I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna drown. I'm gonna go for it and get all I can while I can.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Alan T. Black, bestselling author. www.alantblack.com, where you can find his other writings. He is a 3-time author, and we appreciate him. Bestselling author at that. So, again, everyone, we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, you'll have some time to stop by and meet us. We'll both be there in the building. So, everyone, have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, Sir Alan.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Bye, everybody.